right, our essential question is, how do we simplify algebraic expressions? Today we're learning how to do that using the distributive property and combining like terms. So, a coefficient is a number being multiplied by a variable. It is written directly next to the variable. So in this expression over here, our coefficients are 5 and 2. They're the numbers attached to the variable. There's no sign there because that's multiplication. A constant is a number not being multiplied with a variable. It is a number without a variable next to it. It can be combined through addition or subtraction with other constants. So it's just a number all on its own. -3 is a constant. +7 is a constant.
Let's make it 3.
Remember, subtracting 3 is the same as adding a -3. So we consider that 3 negative because you're adding a negative. Addition is our most basic operation, so we want to make sure everything is written in terms of addition. Alright, like terms are terms that have the same variable and exponent. So 3x and 6x are like terms. They both have x as a variable. It's x to the first power. X squared is not the same as an x. Y is not the same as an x. +8 and +2 are also like terms because they're just constants. When we combine our like terms, we're trying to identify the like terms in an expression, and we're just adding them together. So in this first example, we have a -6x and a +4x. -6x plus 4x. We add the coefficients. -6 plus 4 is -2. And then they keep the x. So -6x plus 4x is -2x. Same for the constants. +7 plus -3 is +4. So we write +4. Yes, Sophia?
So you add it because the 4 is being added to the 7?
You add it because you are always adding. This 4 was positive, so we're adding a +4.
So you wouldn't divide that.
This 3 is negative. So we're going to do 7 plus a -3. So you're always adding. The sign to the left tells you if it's a positive or negative number. So this next example, we have a -3 and a +9. -3 plus 9 is where that 6 comes from. We have a +8y and a -5y. 8y plus -5y is where that 3y comes from. 8 plus -5 is 3, and those were y terms. So you guys try the 3 on the bottom. I recommend when you do this, you circle your like terms, square your other like terms, put triangles around other like terms. So 14x and +1x are like terms. They're both x to the first power terms. -7 and +10, those are constants. They're like terms. So I can see what I'm adding. A 14x and a 1x, that's one term. A -7 and a 10, that's another term. Yes, Sophia?
When you add the one on the bottom, when you add 14, and would you add it 1?
Mm-hmm. So this is 14x plus 1 more x would be 15x.
Okay.
What's negative 7 plus 10?
Negative 3, or positive 3.
Positive 3. Since it's positive, I'm going to write plus 3. And that's a simplified expression. All right, so we have a negative 1 and a positive 7. Those are constants. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6. We have a 2a squared and a negative 4a squared. Positive 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. A squared. Yes?
I did it 6 plus 2a squared.
The other way you could write this would be 6 minus 2a squared, or 6 plus a negative 2a squared. But this 2, you have to have a subtraction or a negative sign next to it.
I did 6 plus negative 2a squared.
Okay, that's fine. You can do it that way. All right, number 3, we have a 3y, a 4y, and a negative 8y. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus negative 8 is negative 1. You could also see this as negative 1y. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5.
Wait, on the other one, when it's squared, the minus? What? I'm so
It's not because it's squared. This is a positive 2a squared. Positive.
Oh, so whatever.
Positive 2a squared. Plus a negative 4a squared. Positive 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. Yes.
Why is it 2a squared? Why is it negative?
What is 2 plus negative 4?
Oh.
This is a 2 that's positive and a 4 that's negative. You always look to the left of a number to see if that number is positive or negative. Yes.
Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5.
You did negative y minus 5.
Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5.
You add the addition sign.
Negative y plus a negative 5 is the same as negative y minus 5. Remember, subtraction is the same as adding a negative. Adding a negative is the same as subtraction. All right, I'm going to turn this over. The back is a distributive property. If you're distributing flyers or you're distributing candy or something, you're handing it out. So you're like passing something out to people. When you use the distributive property, you are giving the number outside the parentheses to all the terms on the inside of the parentheses. When we say we're going to give that number to the other ones, we need to multiply. Because this number outside is being multiplied by the parentheses, so we're just passing that along. Expressions are simplified when there are no more parentheses.
It's on your paper. Oh, it is. Yeah. Where?
Right up here it says parentheses multiple times.
Yeah. Oh, we're there.
Okay, so I'm gonna work this out and show you the long way and show you every step. If you've done this before, you can take the shortcut. So this, yes.
For the distributing the combining terms next to the between, is that a negative 3? Between
You're looking at the bottom? We'll get there. Outside these parentheses, we have a 3 that needs to be distributed to every term inside the parentheses. You can think of it as like a mailman delivering mail. He needs to hit every house in the neighborhood. So this first one is 3 times 2x plus 3 times 1. So I copied this addition sign. 3 times 2 is 6, so 3 times 2x is 6x, plus 3 times 1 is 3. If you have only addition and positive numbers, then it's pretty hard to make a mistake. But when you start adding in negative numbers, it gets more challenging. So this 4 is outside the parentheses. We need to distribute it to every number inside the parentheses. 4 times 3x. I'm going to copy down the subtraction sign. 4 times 5. So every number inside the parentheses, each term, gets multiplied by the number outside. Terms are separated by plus and minus signs. Every time you see a plus or a minus, that's a new term. 4 times 3 is 12, so 4 times 3x is 12x. Minus 4 times 5 is 20. Alright, and last example I have for you, we have a negative 7 outside the parentheses. It needs to be distributed to every number on the inside of the parentheses. Negative 7 times 2x. I'm going to copy down the subtraction sign, and then we're multiplying negative 7 times 3. You have a subtraction sign here because there's a subtraction sign inside the parentheses. You have a negative 7 here because the negative 7 was on the outside of the parentheses. So you have a subtraction and a negative number. You have to include both of those signs. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. So negative 7 times 2x is negative 14x. I'm going to copy down this subtraction sign. Negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. Now, we do not ever leave these double negatives here. Subtracting a negative is the same as addition. Negative 14x plus 21. If you're going to do that without showing all those steps, negative 7 times 2x is negative 14x. Negative 7 times, this 3 is negative. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. So try these 3 on the bottom. Alright, this first one, we have the 6 outside that we are distributing. 6 times 3x plus 6 times 2. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12. The next one, we have a negative 2 on the outside. Negative 2 times negative 4x. Carry down the subtraction sign, minus negative 2 times 7. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. Minus negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Subtracting a negative is the same as addition. 8x plus 14. This last one, we have a negative 3 on the outside. Negative 3 times 2x. Carry down the subtraction sign. That's minus negative 3 times 5. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Minus negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Subtracting a negative is the same as addition. Negative 6x plus 15.
I got that.
Good.
Oh my god.
If we have distributing and combining like terms in the same problem, we distribute first. The reason we distribute first is because distributing is multiplication. Combining like terms is addition. Multiplication comes before addition in the order of operations. So this is the same as 6 plus negative 3. 6 minus 3 is the same as 6 plus negative 3. So this is a negative 3 on the outside that we have to distribute. So we leave the 6 here, plus negative 3 times 2x, plus negative 3 times 1. Negative 3 times 2x, negative 3 times 1. That 6 stayed there. You do not do 6 minus 3. That is subtraction. You have to do your multiplication first. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. We did all of our distributive properties, so now we need to combine our like terms. This 6x is, or negative 6x is the only x term, so there's negative 6x's there. This is a positive 6 and a negative 3. 6 plus negative 3 is positive 3.
Oh, that was the negative.
Yes.
3 minus 6x is the same thing, correct?
Okay. Number 2. We can distribute the 2. Remember, subtracting 3 is the same as adding a negative 3. What number are we distributing?
3.
What kind of 3?
Positive.
Negative 3. Adding negative is the same as subtraction. When this problem starts out as subtracting 3, you are distributing a negative 3. 2 times 6x minus 2 times 1 plus, there's a plus here, we got to carry it down. Negative 3 times x plus negative 3 times 5.
Where did you get the plus?
Kiss your paper.
In the parentheses.
This is a negative 3. Subtracting 3 is the same as adding negative 3. This is my plus. Adding negative 3 makes it a plus sign between these two groups of numbers. A plus sign, not a subtraction sign, not a multiplication sign. 2 times 6x is 12x minus 2 times 1 is 2 plus negative 3 times x is negative 3x plus negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Remember, subtracting 2 here is the same as adding a negative 2. And that's going to help us with our combining like terms. 12x plus negative 3x is 9x. Negative 2 plus negative 15 is negative 17.